Good morning and happy Wednesday to you. I hope everyone's doing well. It is time to grab some morning tea, get comfortable, because we are going to read the beautiful story, The Moonshine Dragon by Cornelia Funk. Okay, let's read. Chapter 1, A Dragon and a Knight. The moon shone into Patrick's room. It turned the carpet silver. Even Patrick's jeans on the chair looked as if they were woven out of silver threads. Who could sleep on a night like this? Patrick lay in his bed, stared out of the window, and counted the stars. Patrick had almost dropped off to sleep when he was startled by a soft rustling sound on the floor by his bed. He peered down to see what it was. There was a book on the floor. Patrick had read the book earlier that day. It was about dragons and knights. Now it lay open on the carpet, even though Patrick was sure he had closed it. Strange. Patrick reached down to close the book. Then he heard another sound. The white pages moved as if an invisible hand had turned them over. Then Patrick heard a soft snort. He was so startled that he hid under his blankets. After a moment, he peeped out and looked down at the book. Now Patrick could hear a loud panting noise. As he watched, a scaly tail appeared from between the pages of the book. The tail was followed by 2 claws, then a silver body with wings and spikes on its back, and then, thud, a dragon slid out from the book and landed on Patrick's carpet. Oh dear, the dragon moaned. He looked around. Where am I? I was in my den. Where have I ended up now? The dragon was very beautiful to look at. He had silver and blue scales and a great long tail. He was just like the picture Patrick had always had in his mind of how a dragon would look. The only difference was that this dragon would fit inside a jam jar. The pages of the book moved again, and this time Patrick heard the clatter of hooves and the clink of iron. He's coming, the dragon whispered in horror. He's following me. He's found me. I have to hide. But where? Where? The dragon twisted his long neck this way and that. In the end, he spotted Patrick's toy castle in the darkest corner of the room. Yes, he cried. That's perfect. The dragon spread his silver wings as if he wanted to fly, but it seemed he couldn't manage more than a tired flutter. Well then, I shall just have to run, he said. The dragon ran across the moonlit carpet to the castle as fast as his legs could carry him. The dragon was only a human-sized step away from the book when a horse sprang out of it. On the horse's back was a knight in armour with a plume of white feathers on his helmet. The horse reared up and the knight looked around. Patrick ducked ever deeper under his blankets. Ha! I will get you, you evil fireworm, the knight roared when he spotted the dragon. This time you will not escape. The knight galloped up to the dragon with his sword held high. Stop! Patrick yelled. He pushed his blankets off and jumped out of bed. Leave the dragon alone, okay? He said to the knight. Whoa! The little knight cried, and his horse stopped. The knight stared up at Patrick. The dragon looked too, at Patrick the knight, and the horse. He let out a cry of alarm and then disappeared into the toy castle. "A giant!" the knight cried. "By God, we are in a land of giants." "Nonsense," Patrick said. He leaned down to talk to the knight. "You're in my room, and no dragons are hunted here. Is that clear?" "Peace, hideous giant," the knight roared. "The White Knight is not afraid of you." He waved his lance, spurred his horse, and galloped straight for Patrick's bare legs. "Hey, stop that!" Patrick cried. "Put away that spear." But the knight had already poked his tiny spear into Patrick's shin. "Ow!" Patrick cried. "Are you crazy?" Patrick was furious. He snatched at the knight and lifted him off his horse. And that's when it happened. As soon as Patrick touched the knight, he began to shrink. Down, down, down he shrank, and fast. Patrick only just managed to pull the knight off his horse. A few seconds later, he was down beside him on the carpet, and Patrick was even shorter than the knight. The White Knight was the first to recover from the shock. He jumped to his feet and drew his sword. Clink, clink, clink went his armour. "Aha!" he growled. "You are a wizard, a vile enchanter." "What nonsense!" Patrick cried. He got to his feet. "Liar!" the knight yelled. "Slimy, devilish warlock." He lunged this way and that as he attacked Patrick with his sword. Patrick had to make a wild leap to one side to stop his head being cut off. Then he ran. He ran towards the castle, faster than he had ever run before. Patrick was in luck. The White Knight's armour was so heavy that he struggled to get back on his horse. When at last he made it back into the saddle, Patrick was almost at the castle gate. But 2 crayons and a rubber were lying on the carpet, blocking his way. Patrick struggled to climb over the crayons as the knight galloped closer and closer. "Oh no," Patrick thought. "If only I'd listened to Mum when she told me to keep my room tidy." Patrick used all his strength to lift himself over the crayons and reach the drawbridge of the castle. He stumbled inside and grabbed the handle that cranked up the bridge to close it. His arms shook as he turned the handle. With a creak, the bridge began to lift. At the very last second, it slammed shut and closed the castle door. Phew! When he saw this, the angry White Knight beat his shield on the castle wall. It made a sound like thunder. Chapter 2, A Good Plan. Well, we might leave it there for today. That is getting very exciting. Let's find out tomorrow whether the knight can get into that castle. Okay, bye for now.